Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping right into a fascinating and honestly kind of alarming psychological trap. You know that pair of unwashed Lucky socks you absolutely refuse to throw away? Or, oh, maybe that very specific way you tap your desk 3 times before logging into a massive Zoom call? Look, we've all got them, right? Those little everyday superstitions, the lucky charms, the rigid routines you literally have to finish before a big presentation or a championship game. But what if I told you these aren't just harmless quirks? What if they're actually a dangerous trap your own brain is setting for you? Let's get right into it and unpack why your everyday superstitions are basically holding you back from real problem solving.
So, are your lucky rituals harmless? Well, society usually tells us yes. We think it's just a bit of innocent fun, wearing our favorite team's jersey on game day to ensure a win, or quickly knocking on wood to prevent a jinx after making a bold prediction. It feels completely normal. It's almost like a universal human bonding experience. But we really need to take a step back and interrogate that assumption. Are your personal superstitions truly as innocent as they seem? According to the psychological research we're unpacking today, the answer is a resounding no. Actually, these tiny habits reveal a much deeper and slightly more concerning cognitive shortcut. The harsh reality here is that you're outsourcing logic to rituals instead of solving real problems. Think of your brain like a muscle. When faced with a heavy lift, like a terrifyingly uncertain outcome or some crazy complex challenge, your brain sometimes just decides it would rather lounge in a metaphorical hammock. These rituals, they aren't cute little personality quirks. They're a massive, flashing warning sign that your brain is actively avoiding the hard work of genuine problem solving. Instead of applying logic, doing the research, and putting in the actual effort to find a concrete solution, your brain is just taking the easy way out. It's relying on superstition to manufacture this fake sense of control. The trap. What is magical thinking? Okay, so we know what the symptom is now, avoiding real problems, but what is the actual disease driving this whole behavior? Well, it all comes down to a specific psychological concept that fundamentally governs how we perceive and interact with the world around us. The absolutely crucial point here is grasping this definition of magical thinking. It's defined simply and powerfully as the confusion of coincidence with cause. And this is the absolute core of the issue. This cognitive glitch basically tricks you into believing your completely unrelated actions somehow physically dictate actual real-world outcomes. It's exactly what happened when our ancient ancestors performed a rain dance and purely by chance a storm rolled in a few hours later. Or, when you wore those lucky socks, nailed that promotion, and suddenly your brain wired those two totally disconnected events together as undeniable fact. Next thing you know, you literally start believing your laundry habits control corporate HR decisions. Now, let's look at coincidence on one side and cause on the other. Think about the difference between a random roll of the dice and a falling line of dominoes. A coincidence is really just two things happening at the exact same time by pure random chance, like the unpredictable tumble of those dice. It's totally meaningless. A cause, on the other hand, is a verifiable chain reaction. It's like those dominoes perfectly striking one another in a direct, factual link, where one action physically creates the next outcome. Magical thinking completely blurs the line between these two distinct realities. It takes a random coincidence, falsely promotes it to a factual cause, and then tricks you into this false, really precarious sense of security. The reality check. True intelligence looks for patterns. Ultimately, how we process coincidences versus cause is a direct measure of our brain power, and it really reflects on how we apply our intelligence in our everyday lives. The quote here says it all. We end up building rituals out of thin air. When we don't demand proof for why things happen in our lives, we literally invent these baseless routines to make ourselves feel better about the inherently unpredictable, chaotic nature of life. Think about the famous psychological experiments with B.F. Skinner's pigeons. This is wild. When food was dropped into their cages at completely random intervals, the pigeons started repeating whatever random movement they were doing right before the food arrived, spinning in circles, bobbing their heads. They were totally convinced their dance caused the feeding. And honestly, we do the exact same thing. We waste incredible amounts of mental energy on these thin air rituals instead of focusing on the actual tangible actions that really move the needle. So this leaves us with two very different mindsets for navigating the world: lower intelligence on one side and true intelligence on the other. Lower intelligence acts like it's wearing a blindfold. It skips the vital step of asking for evidence and just blindly accepts magical thinking, simply because, well, it's the path of least resistance. I mean, it requires absolutely zero effort to knock on wood, right? True intelligence, however, does the hard work. It takes the blindfold off. It demands evidence and climbs step by step up the stairs of logic to find real, verifiable patterns in reality, not imagined ones.
It's the profound difference between just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best and actually systematically figuring out exactly how to achieve your goals. We're wrapping up this explainer with a final challenge, and it's one that I really want you to chew on after we finish. Are you solving real problems or just performing magic tricks? It's time to seriously examine your own daily habits. You know, those little superstitions you cling to when the pressure is on, and make a decision. Are you going to continue relying on magic and crossed fingers to get you through the day? Or will you step up, start demanding evidence, and use true intelligence to master your world? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for exploring this with me today.